Headshot.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself before I ask you all the questions.
Okay, well, my name is John Patrick Lowrie. I'm an actor and a voice actor and a guitarist and a composer and a writer and a director. I do all kinds of things to keep a roof over my head. I live in Seattle with my wife, Ellen McLean. I'm the voice of the sniper in Team Fortress 2. She's most famous as the voice of GLaDOS in the Portal games, but we're both in Team Fortress 2, and she's the announcer in that, and we're both in Half-Life 2, and we're both in Left 4 Dead, and we're both in Dota 2. And then I've done a whole bunch of games not for Valve, and she's done a few games not for Valve.
Awesome. That's awesome. What made you? One of the questions here is, what is your favorite line of the sniper that is not in an SFM short?
That is not in like a Meet the Sniper short?
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah.
I think probably that was so easy. I think I'm getting worse.
Does it hurt your voice to talk like that, or is it?
I'm sorry.
Does it hurt your voice to talk like that at all? Or?
No. It's just a dialect. So
Huh, okay.
I mean, I may raise my voice a little bit, but mostly it's just a dialect.
Awesome. What made you get into like voice acting and all that? Like, how'd you get in contact with Valve and all that type of stuff?
Well, so the first voice acting I did, Ellen and I was working on a doctorate in music composition at Indiana University. Indiana is a state in the central United States, and we got jobs just to make a little money while we were students there as DJs at the local National Public Radio station. And while we were doing that, they asked us to do some commercials. And actually, I guess they asked me to do some commercials. So I got no. We were both in them. And so that was the first voice acting we did. That was back in the 80s. And we decided to move out to Seattle just because we'd heard there was a lot of professional theater out here, and we wanted to take a shot. So we did. And when I got out here, I went ahead and made a voice demo and got an agent, just because my voice never changed. When I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and the nurses at the hospital called me the B-29 because I cried 2 octaves lower than all the other babies. I had a low voice even when I was a little kid. And when I was in first grade, they had me play the narrator in the Christmas pageant because they said I sounded like Walter Cronkite, who was a famous news broadcaster in the 60s in America. So I wish I could have had, video back then in the late 50s, this little 3-foot tall guy sounding like me. But my voice never changed. And when I got into high school, I got into the radio club. And when girls started hearing me on the radio, they said I should really get into radio because all women would fall in love with my voice and all that kind of stuff, which is very nice of them to say. But so I always kind of knew that I could do this kind of stuff. But I was really interested in guitar and composition, and that's what I did for many, many years. I had a jazz fusion duo with my friend Ron Keith for about 7 years. And I met Ellen when I got a gig playing in the orchestra in a European tour of a Broadway show. And Ellen was in the cast, and I was in the orchestra. And I found out that the actors were making more than the musicians were. And so I tried out for the cast. And my first paid acting gig was in Palermo, Sicily, where I went on for an actor who got sick. But so that kind of got me into acting. And we went back to New York and were there for a few months, but we really didn't want to stay there because we knew if we stayed there, we'd never see each other again, because actors in New York are always working someplace else. They're never working in New York. I mean, every once in a while they do, but most of the time they're somewhere else. And so we'd heard that there was a lot of professional acting out in Seattle, and we came out here. And so at that point, I just got a voice demo and got an agent and started auditioning. Now, this was 4 years before the video game industry, the home video game industry really got started up. And as to how I got into it, I just auditioned.
How'd you get like with Valve, like TF2 team?
But they sent my agent an audition. The first audition they sent him that he sent me was the citizens in Half-Life 2. And I landed that audition, and then they liked my work enough that they asked me to do, what's the guy's name? Odessa Cubbage, who is the guy who teaches you how to shoot down the bug helicopters. And of course, Odessa Cubbage was a British sort of guy, and he wanted you to go out there while he stayed safe down in the basement, and you go out and be in danger while I stay here and make sure everything is, all right. And so that was that, and then they hired. Then the second gig they hired me for, well, and also they hired Ellen to play Overwatch, the Overwatch in Half-Life 2. Yeah, so when I'm playing Half-Life 2, it's a lot of fun for me because I'm always glad to see me. All the citizens are always glad to see me. It's like, oh, Gordon Freeman, you're great. Everything's going to be fabulous now. And my wife is always trying to get me arrested. Citizen, you are malignant, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's us in Half-Life 2. And then they hired both of us for Team Fortress 2. They still didn't know we were married until one time they actually brought us in for 2 consecutive sessions at the recording studio. And Ellen was first, and she went in and said, well, you're going to be working with my husband next. And they kind of went, "Noi?" And so that's when they found out that we were married. And then, of course, they hired Ellen to play GLaDOS in Portal, and that's when she got mega famous. But they thought it was so funny that we were married that they hired us to be the bickering married couple at the end of Left 4 Dead on the houseboat. When you've killed all the zombies and are trying to look for a way out, you hear this voice come over the radio, and that's me. And Ellen's in the background saying, "What are you doing? There's zombies everywhere. Don't land," and all that kind of stuff. So
nice.
So, but that's how that worked. So just through auditioning.
Okay, so the next question is, why does he hate bloody fruit shop owners?
Oh, well, bloody fruit shop owners, they sell fruit. A real man eats meat and, your enemy's blood. And mostly coffee.
Is it a good job, mate?
It's a good job, mate. You're out of doors. You never go hungry.
What were your relationships with other TF2 voice actors?
I know quite a few of them. The guy who plays Heavy Weapons Guy is my friend Gary Schwartz. I worked with him many, many times. The voice of the Spy and Pyro is my friend Dennis Bateman. I've known him for 25 years, worked with him many, 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 many times. Let's see. The Soldier is Rick May, another friend of mine whom I've worked with many times. Those are the guys in TF2 that I know the best. Trying to think if there's anybody else in TF2. Yeah, I think the other guys in TF2 I haven't met. Well, and of course Ellen, whom I'm married to.
Yeah. Who were you inspired by? I don't know how you'd take that question. I'd say maybe for the voice.
Oh, to do the Aussie voice?
Yeah.
Well, I just tried to listen to a lot of Australian accents. When Valve sent me the audition, of course, when game companies send you an audition, they always send you a little artwork and a little kind of short bio of what the character is. Yeah. And since they'd already worked with me in Half-Life 2, they just sent me a little note that they were thinking that he might be Aussie, but I could try other things too. And I gave him 2 or 3 different things, but I gave him an Aussie. And I've always enjoyed the Australian dialect. My wife and I love the show Rake. I'm not sure if you've
Rake. Nah.
You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't. And
okay, it's Australian. It's an Australian crime lawyer show, and it's really hilarious and very well written. But I've been interested in dialects ever since I was a little kid, and probably some of the people that I listened to in movies clear back in the 50s and 60s got me interested in it. But I can't really say that I based them off of any particular Australian.
Okay.
Because you for one thing, you get into if you actually sound like who's the guy in Road Warrior, Mel Gibson or something like that. Yeah. Then they think that Mel Gibson is the sniper, and Valve didn't want that.
So that's unique. Yeah. Next question. If you had to choose to voice act for any other class in the game but Sniper, who would it be?
All the rest of them are wankers. I wouldn't touch them.
I'm like not going to stop laughing. I just love it. Has working for Valve changed over the years?
Well, I mean, the writers have always been great. I mean, they've really been fabulous. Eric Wolpaw, Jay Pinkerton, Chet Falasek are the three that I've worked with the most. But they're all wonderful, and it's always great going out there because they treat us like rock stars because we go all over the world going to fan cons. And why hasn't Australia had us at a fan con? I want to put that out there.
I'd love to have you down here. That'd be awesome. I wish. Well, too far away from everyone.
Well, we'll go down there. We would love to visit Australia, but they aren't coming out with new games all that much anymore. I mean, They keep updating TF2 and they keep updating Dota 2, and the international for Dota 2 is a huge thing. And of course, I announce that every year, and. But really, it really hasn't changed. I mean, when we first started working with them, Bill Van Buren isn't there anymore. He's the guy who directed us in Half-Life 2 and Team Fortress 2 and in Portal 2 for Ellen. But really, the writers are great directors. They work with the actors really wonderfully. And of course, the recording studio out there is top notch, and the engineers are great. So
I've seen some videos of when people go to Valve, like the YouTubers and all that. It looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I think that just this winter they moved into a new place that I'm probably going to visit this summer when the international kicks up again. Right. So I'm looking forward to see that. It's just a couple blocks from where they were, but I guess they were just outgrowing it. They just needed a bigger place and stuff like that. So
yeah. Do you notice any difference in how all the game is treated? Like, do you notice any difference at all from when you first started to now?
How the game is treated?
Yeah, I know. That's I'd say in update wise, like the TF2 team, has it gotten bigger, smaller, or you know what I mean? Probably that type of thing.
Well, the biggest thing recently in the last year or so, last couple of years, they've started really gearing up in competitive mode because Dota 2 has become such a big success as an esport. That they want to get TF2 up to that level as well. So that's what they've been working on lately is that. And that's been a lot of fun because Sniper wasn't in competitive mode for many years, and now he is. So I get to do a lot of lines for them. Yeah. I mean, what the Valve writers are really good at is incorporating humor into the game. And you could certainly make a game which is basically capture the flag. We have two teams trying to get things from each other, and there's not any humor in it at all. And I've actually done some of those games that I'm not credited on because there's no reason. All I said was, more health, turn left, sniper, and more ammo and stuff like that. But their characters have such personalities. It's really fun to do.
In your opinion, what is the most hilarious attribute of the character?
I love that he thinks it's a job. That this is just what he does, and he goes to work. And I guess the other thing is that he actually biologically creates one of his weapons. It was hilarious to me that, of course, a sniper is going to be doing a lot of sitting around waiting, and of course he's going to drink a lot of coffee to stay awake. And the fact that he can turn that coffee into a usable bioweapon is hilarious to me. Jarate is one of my faves.
Okay, so the next one is, were you involved in the new SFM short?
How new?
The Pyro update one.
I think I'm credited on it, but I'm not sure that they called me in to do any specific lines. They have a lot of lines that I've already said, so they probably just reincorporated those lines.
Okay, so there are a lot of lines that you have done, but they haven't been put in yet?
I have no idea, man. I don't remember all the lines that I've done.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
I wouldn't know.
Do you play TF2 yourself?
I have played a little bit. It's moved so fast that I have never really been able to catch up with it. but it looks just like a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed the little bit that I've played. But I just feel like I would be a horrible drag on any team out there. So,
Okay. I think we've said that one before. What lines were the hardest to get right?
what lines were the hardest to get right? I mean, there wasn't really difficulty. I mean, I don't know if I'm just weird, but this is the kind of thing that I just really enjoy doing, and the writers really like my work. I mean, it's more like playing. I mean, we get in there and I'm cracking the writers up and they're cracking me up. And, I'll say one thing or say something a certain way, and that'll give them ideas for more lines, or I'll do an ad lib and that'll give them an idea for a whole bunch more lines. So it's not really difficult for me. I mean, it's just fun, and the writers and I just have such a great time that I can't really say that one was harder than the rest. It seems to come pretty easy for me.
Nice. How does his parents feel about his profession?
How does the sniper's parents feel about his profession?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my dad thinks I'm a criminal, which is just wrong. I get paid for what I do. I'm legitimate. I'm a businessman. And, my mum cries a lot. So what can you do?
Yeah. Well, job's a job.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You have a talent. You follow your dream. It's and sometimes your parents just don't come on board.
Yeah.
So we get together, on holidays, and it's not comfortable, but it's still it's a loving relationship. I mean, they don't beat me as often as they used to, so that's nice.
Do you have more fun as Sniper or as your Dota characters, and if so, which ones?
Oh, no, Sniper's my favorite. Now, there are a couple of Dota characters that I enjoy. Pudge is a lot of fun because he's a cannibal, and Storm Spirit is a lot of fun because he's an egomaniac. But the Sniper I've just gotten to do a lot more lines for, and have gotten to develop them a lot more. And certainly with the video Meet the Sniper, you really got to know about him and his family life and everything else. And so I have to say that Sniper is my favorite.
Remind me if I'm repeating some questions here. Is there a lot of, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I can't keep.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you feel like it's just the same thing, then yeah, just tell me.
Okay.
Are there any other characters in TF2 that you would have enjoyed voicing?
Well, I would have enjoyed voicing them all. The black Scottish guy I think is very funny. The heavy weapons guy I would love doing. The spy I would love doing. But of course, these are voiced by friends of mine, so I wouldn't want to take the jobs away from them. And the scout I think is hilarious. Although I think I just have the wrong voice for the scout. The scout needs to sound younger than I do.
What is your favorite sniper weapon? But then again, you just said that you don't play it too often.
But I think I have to say Jarate is my favorite.
You guessed it. You got it.
Oh, good.
So this question is, if it gets too personal, like, you know what I mean, like well.
Sure, okay.
What is his day job, and is he still looking for acting gigs, like for other games?
Oh, so they're asking me what my day job is?
Yeah.
I don't have a day job. I'm just an actor. I do it professionally. That's how I make all my money. And yeah, actually, my wife and I are both working on a new video game by a company called Paranoid Productions that is slated to be released later this year, called The Church in the Darkness, where Ellen and I play a married couple that are cult leaders of a cult in South America, and their task is to go down and rescue their nephew from this cult. Only they don't know if their nephew wants to be rescued. They don't know if it's a good cult or a bad cult, and all kinds of really cool things. Check it out. I mean, you can play the demo on Steam.
What's it called?
And yeah, it's called The Church in the Darkness.
Church in the Darkness. Okay, I'll give it a go.
And it's fun because Richard Rouse, who is the president of Paranoid Productions, actually worked with me on The Suffering 1 and 2. And he called me up a few years ago and asked me if I would be interested in helping to develop a video game from the ground up. Now, we're not coders or animators or anything like that, but we were very much involved in developing the characters and helping him fine-tune the script and stuff like that. And that was a lot of fun. And then since he knew that I was a composer and he knew that Ellen was famous for singing songs in the Portal games, he asked me to write some songs for the end of the game. And so I've written 4 songs for the end of the game, and Ellen and I also do 4 old spirituals, because it's a quasi-religious cult, kind of a religious, kind of a Christian communist, combination. So that's what we've been working on for the past few months. And then I have I'm working on a screenplay, and of course I don't know if you guys know that I published a novel, a science fiction novel called Dancing with Eternity, and I'd love for you guys all to go out and buy it and read it. It's gotten a lot of great reviews and won an award and stuff like that.
Well, there you go, guys. Check it out. I might check it out myself actually too.
Cool. And if you like Ellen and me talking to you, Imagination Theater, which was a radio drama company that I worked for many years, produced it as an audiobook complete with music and sound effects. So if you want 16 hours of science fiction goodness and Ellen and I talking to you, then we do all the characters and stuff like that.
Nice. What's your relationship with the real-life spy voice actor? Like, do you hate each other the same way your characters do?
No, we hate each other in a completely different way than our characters do. No, I'm kidding. We're great friends. We worked together. Imagination Theater made radio dramas for many, many years, and I played Sherlock Holmes, and he played a character in every one of the episodes because he has such a flexible voice, and he was also the announcer, and so they always cast him as some other part too. So we've probably done 150, 200 radio shows together.
Okay. How is it when you has there ever been a SFM short? Like, I can't remember all the SFM shorts. I don't know if you can either, but if you all go into the same room together and you're all acting together and all that, how does that feel when you see everyone there together? Like all nine voice actors.
That never happens.
Okay.
They always have us in one at a time.
Okay.
So
okay.
We'll read our lines, and then if we're responding to somebody else, they'll play the other actor's lines to us, and we'll respond to that.
Okay, so it's not like understood.
Right now, in Imagination Theater, we would all get together, and there were times where Dennis the spy and Gary the heavy weapons guy and Rick May the soldier and me were all in the same show, and we got to act with each other then, but never for Valve.
Okay. Do you guys ever pretend to do like those type of voices outside, like if you guys meet up and all that? Have you guys ever done that?
Well, it's our work. I mean, that'd be like, what is your job? That'd be like you going out and doing your job when you're not being paid.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Does he have a plan to kill everyone he meets?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, how could I be a sniper if I didn't?
And then he goes, serious question. Why he... Okay, so he worded this wrong. Why doesn't he have a line in the expiration date? Did they, like...
Right, I have no idea. I mean, I guess they just didn't have anything for me to say. I mean, you'd have to ask the writers that.
Second question is, do you think you'll have... Or do you have a line in the jungle short? I never knew there was a jungle short, but... You know that jungle update?
Well, I've done some lines recently, so I'm not sure what... They don't always tell me what they're going to put them in.
Oh, okay. So, over how long of a period do you record lines for the sniper?
So, I mean, there's a couple of ways that I could interpret that question. The actual gigs take between 1 and usually 2 hours. Sometimes it goes a little bit over 2 hours. I've been recording for the sniper since 2006, since a couple of years before the game came out, and I go in every once in a while and do some more lines.
Okay. How recently have you voiced something new? I mean, like, have you voiced anything like fairly recent?
Yeah, I mean, within the last year, and they, I mean, it's an ongoing thing. So there's
Okay.
going to be more stuff coming up, I'm sure. I mean, there's at least they haven't told me any plans to stop doing it. So.
What were you thinking when you had to record the lines for So Hoots a Lot, the owl head?
It was great fun, man. I mean, in that session, I did the Owlhead stuff and I did the Samba stuff, which was all hilarious. And for the Samba stuff, I got to improvise. They just played some Samba music and I danced around and said all this stupid stuff. Um, and then I mean, that's what I love about these games is that these guys, just are hilarious. They just come up with the stupidest, silliest stuff to do. And Ellen and I both just have a great time.
Um, Feel free to not do this one. He goes, "Can you ask him to sing Waltzing Matilda or make a reference to the comics?"
Or make a reference to the comics.
Yeah, or one of the comics, like one of your favorite things from the comics. Do you read them?
I have read them. It's been a while. I've been very busy lately, so I haven't
That's what I
gotten.
was thinking.
Yeah, they use the comics to actually develop new ideas. I mean, if fans like the ideas in the comics, which are very inexpensive to put out, Eric Wolpaw and I think Jay Pinkerton work on those all the time. Then if somebody likes something, then they'll incorporate it into the game. So, waltzing Matilda, you'll go waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he something, and I can't remember the words, but a billabong. You'll have a waltzing Matilda with me. How's that?
That's awesome. Can he confirm if Sniper's canon name is Mick Mundy? A third-party action figure claims it, but so far we've heard no confirmation from Valve.
Right, and you won't.
Okay.
You see, that's all on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
And if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
What's another one here? What's your favorite cosmetic for the Sniper? Do you know any of the cosmetic, like a hat? Like, do you like the Sir Hoots a Lot thing, or?
I like the campaign hat.
Okay.
I'm a traditionalist. Yeah. I like him to look like an Aussie.
What do you think of the Sniper as a character, in-game / lore-wise, / or lore-wise?
Well, I mean, I think he's a great character. I think that the writers came up with a wonderful idea, and I'm not sure what that question means. I like him. What do I think of him? I guess I'm not sure what that question means.
Yeah, that's same as me, to be honest. Next one is, so this person here wants to know if you could just say some of these quotes by the Sniper.
Okay. All right.
He said maybe not all of them if he doesn't want to do all of them, but that's up to you.
Okay.
So for the first one, it's, "You're scared now, but how scared are you? Show me."
You're scared now, but how scared are you? Show me.
I just love it. I wish I could do it. You're a real screw up, aren't you?
You're a real screw up, aren't you?
Terrific. I ask for help, and you give me a science lecture. You're worse than some of my teachers.
A size lecture? A science lecture.
Science lecture.
Right. Terrific. I ask for help, you give me a science lecture. You're worse than some of my teachers.
Last two. Just once, I wish people would ask first and shoot later.
Just once, I wish people would ask first and shoot later.
I think we need to talk about your sense of timing, Professor.
I think we need to talk about your sense of timing, Professor.
Some of these questions have already been said. So, when you play a Valve server like a normal pub, how many snipers is too many?
2 is too many. There's only one sniper. I mean, it's when I'm looking across the way and I see myself over there. I mean, it's just freaky weird.
So some of these questions are like, Okay, so what limitations does Sniper face in gameplay wise, do you think?
What limitations?
Yeah, like what counters him badly?
Oh yeah, I mean, I would have needed to play the game a lot more
Yeah,
than I have.
that's what I was thinking.
Well, I mean,
Um,
certainly, Snipe is all over pissing a jaw. So
um, so I think that's it. That's pretty much it.
Oh,
Thank you.
great,
Is
great.
there anything you want to shout out or before we sort of end this off?
Well, once again, keep an eye out for the Church in the Darkness. If any of you guys down there get up to Seattle for the Dota 2 International, stop by. I'll be there, and I'd love to meet you. And check out my novel, Dancing with Eternity. I think that if you're into science fiction, I think you'll really like it. So
Nice, nice. Before I end this off, you probably don't want to hear this, but I'm a spy main, or I was a spy main.
spy.
All right, man. Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. That was awesome.
You're very welcome. Well, thanks so much for calling.
No worries. Hope everyone enjoyed this. I think they will.
I'm an owl. Look at me. I got an owl head.
It's the best.